There's a lot to unpack in the latest Godzilla flick's ending, from what the human characters might do next to what this rapidly expanding fictional universe could imply about the future of the ancient beings known as Titans. Let's break it all down and explain the ending of Godzilla King of the Monsters. Monster spoilers ahead. Godzilla King of the Monsters ends exactly the way you'd expect it to, with a massive Titan versus Titan showdown in the ruins of Boston, as Godzilla and Ghidorah battle it out for apex predator status. The film ultimately reveals that Godzilla, who seems to be working side by side with humanity, has prevailed by showing us the King of the Monsters chowing down on one of Ghidorah's heads before blasting the remains of the alien monster with his atomic breath. And then this exchange happens.
Good thing he's on our side.
For now.
It's an ominous postscript added by Monarch's resident mythologist, who seems to understand that even though some version of a balance has been achieved with Godzilla's victory, it could all go very wrong at any moment. The line, "for now," might just seem like a teaser for more sequels, but Dr. Chen's warning speaks to the fragility of life on Earth in the wake of the film. Everything old is new again, and that means new rules for everyone that could be breaking at any moment. Midway through the film, Godzilla managed to chew off one of Ghidorah's heads before the oxygen destroyer weapon was deployed and rendered Godzilla dormant. Ghidorah was unaffected by the destroyer because, as it turns out, he's an alien species who invaded the Earth millennia ago.
A barren land laid to waste by the vile brute known as Monster Zero.
Being an alien means he's also capable of regrowing his head. But what about the original noggin? We have to wait until a post-credit scene to find out what happened, but it turns out that extra severed Ghidorah head was picked up by fishermen and offered to Alan Jonah and his eco-terrorist group. Jonah's original plan was to awaken the Titans one at a time to restore balance to the world, and that plan fell apart when Ghidorah woke up all the Titans himself. So what can Jonah do with a Ghidorah head that he couldn't do before? Well, he could just be selling off the creature's DNA as a valuable resource, or he could have grander designs. A resurrected Ghidorah under the control of a human master could change the game for all Titans, and Jonah himself could be the king of the monsters. That's if he can manage to bring Monster Zero back at all, and that's a big if.
So this plan is what you would call a long shot.
Well, let's get started.
It's been a common feature of Godzilla films for decades now that Mothra emerges as a benevolent, self-sacrificing figure who wants to live in harmony with humans rather than battle them. And the Queen of the Monsters lived up to that legacy in this film. After defeating Rodan, a weakened Mothra sacrificed herself in battle against Ghidorah to help Godzilla, with her essence falling on the King of the Monsters to give him a little added boost when he needed it.
Mothra can't die now!
Luckily, that's not the end of Mothra. News clippings in the film's closing credits suggest the Queen is simply regenerating and will eventually emerge from another cocoon. The film also suggests that when she does return, Mothra won't be alone. The Chen twins seem to be more than just two scientists with an intense interest in monsters. Their devotion to Titans, plus their status as twins, points to them being the Monsterverse version of the Shobi gene, the twin fairies in the original films who worship Mothra on its home of Infant Island. We very likely haven't seen the last of them. Throughout the film, we see references to Kong, the king of Skull Island who was the star of the second film in the Monsterverse and who will return again next year to battle Godzilla. What we never actually see in the film is anything new from Kong himself, even as Titans around the world are waking up and responding to Ghidorah. So why didn't Kong respond? Well, the simple answer could just be that he's on an island and isn't equipped to cross through the storms that surround it and make his way across the ocean. But there may be more to it. News clippings at the end of the film note that Titans are making their way towards Skull Island, seemingly setting the stage for Godzilla vs. Kong. If Kong is powerful enough to have resisted Ghidorah's orders, that places him in rare company alongside Mothra and Godzilla as one of the strongest monsters on the planet. His absence is not a sign of weakness, but a sign of strength. And, of course, a sequel. Early in the film, Dr. Stanton theorizes that Godzilla is able to move so quickly underwater because the Earth is in fact hollow, and the Titan is using tunnels under oceans that have yet to be discovered by man. This theory is laughed off until the Monarch team follows a dormant Godzilla into the depths later in the film and discovers that there's more than just tunnels. There's also an entire underwater city down there. News clippings in the film's closing credits reveal that this information has been made public, and now the whole world knows that Hollow Earth humans once worshipped and coexisted with the Titans. Of course, the underwater city we see in the film was presumably destroyed by the nuclear explosion that was set off to repower Godzilla, but if there really was a culture of people worshipping the first gods, it's hard to imagine that city was the only one. Even as the cities of the world are destroyed by the Titans, Godzilla, King of the Monsters also does its best to keep a human heart at its center. Much of that heart centers on the Russell family, which was torn apart by Godzilla's battle in San Francisco in 2014. As the film goes on, Maddie has to watch her mother, who was once her hero, become what she calls a monster before earning redemption by sacrificing herself in the fight to defeat Ghidorah.
No sequel for you.
When the dust settles, Mark and Madison are the only two members of the family left. The film leaves their future open-ended, but we already know Millie Bobby Brown will return for Godzilla vs. Kong, so the Russells are clearly planning to stick close to the Titans for at least a little while longer. King of the Monsters spends most of its runtime focusing on the title monster, Godzilla, and three other key players among the Titans: Ghidorah, Mothra, and Rodan. Despite what trailers might suggest, though, these creatures are far from the only Titans in the film. Though we only glimpse a few of them, they often seem to be creatures we've never seen before in Godzilla films, most prominently the giant spider, Scylla, and the mammoth creature, Behemoth. But Monarch is never done searching, and the revelation of alien Titans as well as underwater cities leaves them with more places to look. The world of Titans is vast at the end of the film, but there's always room to grow, and we can probably expect more Titans to emerge along with more sequels. Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more Looper videos about your favorite films are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.